Hi, everybody. Welcome back to Uplift My Life Today podcast. Yes, on YouTube or audio. My name is Astuti Martosudirdjo. I'm your host. I am a subconscious mind reprogrammer and basically helping go-getters from around the world to face their emotional crisis and to create a life of fulfillment beyond just success. And I work with both of their conscious and subconscious mind. And this is why I host many conversations with different experts to help the different parts of the journey of different people. So today, I have with me Ilana Jankowitz, my beloved friend and money mindset coach based in Switzerland. Ilana and I had a conversation about a couple of months ago about how old is too old, really, to start a new life or to restart your life. And in my profession, I had a lot of younger people who had this ceiling above their head saying like, I'm too old to change. And when I shared with them how old I was when I started this career that I'm in right now, they were all gobsmacked. So as I was sharing this with Ilana was like, let's have a chat about it. And so this is the chat. Thank you for coming, Ilana.
So Tuti, thank you for having me. Been here before and it's really cool and lovely speaking to your audience. So thank you for having me.
Always lovely to have you here. So can we start off with your story? Money mindset coaching certainly is not something that you've done for decades. Okay, great. So would you mind sharing your story in terms of what happened in your life that led you to this journey? And can you share a little bit about your journey in starting?
Sure. I wish that I had known about it a lot earlier. I wish that I had known about it. Gosh, it would have saved a lot of heartache, a lot of stress, a lot of just anxiety and fear. I think if I knew then what I know now. Basically, I've grown up with poverty and scarcity, and everything was wrapped around this
Mm.
feelings of not being good enough, not deserving, not being able to have the things I want, not to ask for things because good girls don't ask for things. And this comes to all areas of your life, money and, as I said, different areas of your life. But literally from growing up with the scarcity, I learned that a coping mechanism was how I overindulged on things, how I became probably quite an angry person internally because I felt, why did it happen to me? Very much the victim mentality. Why is this happening to me? Why did other people have money? Why did other people have all these holidays? Why couldn't I have that? Which makes you compare yourself, makes you judge, which is an addiction. And the other addiction that I had was shopping, how to fill this emotional hole with stuff, so lots and lots of stuff, to make yourself feel better for a bit. So growing up with that and taking that into my adulthood, when I got into problems with overspending and credit cards and fighting with my husband because the credit card bills used to come, the statements, and I realized that I wasn't getting out of it this time, I finally went for money coaching, which when I heard about it, I thought, what's this nonsense? Like what they're trying to sell. I was not interested. I took a money quiz, which is one of the ways I also work, and I saw the different archetypes that came up and how it called me the fool and the innocent and the victim and the martyr and the tyrant. And I thought, I'm not doing this. This is horrible.
How old were you when you did this
50.
quiz? Oh my God. Okay. Yes. Okay. Got it.
And I thought, there's no ways on earth I'm doing this. There's no ways on earth I'm going to sit there and have somebody telling me, probably a younger person telling me how I should have done this and I should know better. because I kept getting that at home. You need to budget. You need to know how much you spend in. And I didn't know how to budget. I didn't know what the purpose of a budget was. The idea of a Excel spreadsheet scared the living daylights out of me.
It's not the most attractive thing.
Yeah.
I am still of that opinion, by the way.
I thought that this was something that I was never going to master, and I just kind of accepted it. But getting the help in a very, very short time, I could see how my spending was affecting so many different areas of my relationship with my family, with myself, how I was always making myself even feel more not good enough because I kept this habit up.
So basically, Ilana, if I understand you correctly, around this time, when you realize existing patterns or existing behavior patterns, and then you see possibility to change it, you basically decided, I'm going to change or show up differently in life. So if I can ask you two things, what did you decide to bring or invite more into your life at that point? And what did you decide to let go at that point?
To let go of was the scarcity.
Okay.
To let go of this scarcity mindset of realizing that I don't have enough, I'll never have enough, I'm not good enough, and rather taking on there's more than enough. There's so much more that if I just open my eyes and look around me and just see all the beauty. So you become a lot more aware. You become also spiritual, realizing the universe is going to look after you.
Yes.
Something you said to me earlier.
Yes.
And you also realize that you can change. You can fix the situation. You don't have to have this and be the victim and say, well, this is my luck and this is my lot in life and this is how it's going to be. You can change it. You can change and understand how money works, understand how you've been in such a fixed negative mindset, and you can change it to a healthy growth mindset.
When you think about how you did business, because you always work up to that point. I mean, you've been always working. This is what I know of you. And before this kind of realization, how, if you look back, Ilana, how was your business then, or how your business performed, or how you perform in your business prior to understanding this mindset compared to after you did the inner work and change it?
I've always been very driven, and I always did well in my business, except whatever came in, I spent it.
Got it.
There was this feeling of not enoughness. I need to keep buying, shopping, doing, and also giving away the money, giving away money to everybody and anybody, mostly my family. Which when I learned where that comes from, how that comes from a feeling of, if I have it, I'm going to lose it anyway, because I don't know how to hold on to it. So I might as well give it away. At least I'm controlling it.
Yeah. I understand.
I did a lot of that.
Right. It's so interesting, right? Because it's with money, it impacts you either in attracting money or using money or saving money. And depending on what you believe in, it impacts your ability to invite money with ease into your business, into your life, or enjoying it or saving it. It's very interesting because I had a client who is a business owner, and he came and he's like, look, I need to work on my money mindset. As we drill deep into his fear, is actually he's very uncomfortable with the idea of having debt. It's very difficult to expand a business, and it's a family business that's been going on for decades now. He wanted to expand. He has an idea how to expand it, but there's this fear of having debt in running a business. Sometimes you need to take this risk. And he said, I don't have issue in attracting, but just thinking of paying the debt, or because we actually borrow money to buy materials and then produce it and then sell it. It's very, very paralyzing. That it's better to keep the business in that size, because that's the amount of stress I can handle. So we were healing this fear of debt. So it was so interesting because you do all kinds of business, like a business decision ceiling because of the fear. Because he said, we have no issue with liquidity. I know that because he's been running for years, but I'm scared personally. I'm scared of debt, and this is my family business. So it was so interesting. And in your case, it was really not issue in attracting the money, but when it comes, it's just coming out very quickly. So that's interesting.
And also just the limiting beliefs that are stopping you, that are thinking if something happens. But as long as there's savings, in a business, like talking about your client you're speaking about, that if, for instance, there's some problem with production or something, there's a fallback on. I always talk about the buffer fund. So that he can most certainly go bigger, much bigger. But if there's some sort of a buffer that he can rely on, if things, the sales haven't come through yet, or it's still taking a while to come through the process, that he basically has this emergency fund, this buffer to fall back on.
Yeah.
That was something I also never ever had. I never had savings.
Yeah.
I never had an emergency fund.
Yeah, I think in this case, he knows the numbers. It's not an issue. It's his personal emotions about it. So he said it's not logical. There's no proof that I'm not going to be able.
Childhood.
It's from ancestors. It's 2 generations back.
I was going to say,
yes.
It comes from childhood trauma, that there is money beliefs that's there. And
I think in this case, it was 3 generations back. So he doesn't even know anymore the story of the family, but it's in his body. So we could clear out the energy and when I'll see how because he's very easily, how do you know you have this fear? And it's like, every time I sign a check, I get stressed. It's not that the money is not there. The money is there, but I'm so stressed. And it's because the idea of having a debt stressing me out. So we'll see if this dissipate.
That's quite beautiful that he actually sees it, because a lot of times people don't see it.
Right.
They don't see it. I've heard of clients that tell me their husbands get very, very grumpy when it comes to payday because they've got to pay bills. And they don't even realize that the guy doesn't realize that that's happening, but the wife doesn't want to be in the same room or in the same house as him.
Yeah.
Because it's bringing up things from the childhood, from the past.
Yeah. It's very interesting. But yeah, this is what I love about all this. Fear is in your body, and especially when it's not based on something concrete nor conscious, because the numbers has showed him differently. But why do I still have the fear? And because he is leading the business, I mean, he understands there's a limit to this. If I still have the fear, I can see where we want to go, but why am I not able to get comfortable with the idea of the expansion, knowing that I have the resources to do it? So it's just very interesting. But yeah, it's a nice that he caught this, and then he came in and he said, look, we've been working on a personal stuff, and then he said, okay, now I'm ready to talk about my business. I said, okay. So but anyways, coming back to you, because this is such an interesting topic. So as you started, Ilana, you were realizing that there's a different way of showing up in connections to money. You can maintain success, but you don't have to spend as much as you did before at the age of 50. So what happened? So you set up your business right away?
So I've always been in business. I know how to run a business. I know about marketing. I know about sales. I know all the elements of business. I just didn't know personally about the finances and about making budgets. I always had, in a business, you've got accountants, you've got people working for you, doing it for you in the business. In my own personal life, it was my mess, my finances that were in a mess. So by fixing this, now reflects very clearly on the way I run business, because I know what budgeting is for. I know that it's important to see where the money is going, not wondering what the heck, where did that go, or worrying about cash flow problems. I understand how the money moves, and that's become very, very easy for me. So by doing this coaching and then starting my business, I was then able to link people that are running a business or people that have a hobby, how to turn it into making money, how to turn it into seeing the opportunities. Sometimes people have, and you mentioned earlier on fear, there's so much fear that it stops them from actually seeing that we actually live in an abundant world, that there is, you don't have to have scarcity, you can choose abundance instead. You can choose prosperity, and then you start seeing things in a different light.
Absolutely. If you look back, because you've been doing this business now for a while successfully, and you are helping other business owners and professionals to be much more prosperous, in much more, I would say, prosperous from the perspective that are much more is much more balanced between the efforts and the rewards. I would say when I'm thinking about abundance, is the way is a bit, there's an element of balance between what you give out and coming back in. And looking at in the way you build up your business, first of all, I don't know if there's a lot of people, well, in Switzerland anyways, who are very courageous to start over building up a business at the age of beautiful 50, because this is like another decade. I think most of people, when they need to approach the job markets or reinvent themselves at this stage of life, a lot more fear coming up. So if you look back into your process, obviously you have the right mindset, or you work on the right mindset. What else did you notice that possibly could help people in who would like to start over? It doesn't need to be in the 50s, it could be in 40s, 30s, of whatever age, that who would like to show up in life differently and continue to be successful, but doing something that is completely different.
First of all, I've seen people doing it in their 60s, even. I've seen people become doctors, women become doctors. One of the great things is, I often think, would I have been able to do the way I'm working now 20 years before? And probably not. A couple of reasons. One is because your focus is just different at different ages. There's also, I always say, there's a season for everything. Now that my kids are older and out of the house, I'm able to actually focus more on what are my clients needing. What are they wanting to learn? How I can build more content and to be able to help each and every person that I'm working with. It's so, I have more freedom now. I have more, because my kids are out of the house, I have more capacity to do the work. When my kids were young kids, you know, I mean, you just spend some time with your nephew, you know how when they're little, they take all your time. It's very difficult then to kind of juggle everything. When now I find I'm doing this because it's my calling. It's my calling, my meaning in this world, to help as many women, and I work predominantly with women, to become financially independent, to understand how they can have a better relationship with money. Because the relationship you have with money isn't just with money. When you fix the relationship with money, you'll fix that problem with your mother or your partner or work situation or marriage situation. Money is an energy, and it touches all areas of your life. So doing this now, I'm in some ways incredibly grateful because I have the capacity to do it. I have the capacity to work with who I want to work with and help them in a very deep way. 20 years ago, I might not have had the maturity. I probably wouldn't have had the maturity or the wisdom, or I would have been very busy running to parents, teachers meetings, or things that my children needed, because ultimately when your mum, your kids come first.
Yeah, comes first, yeah.
So I'm actually incredibly grateful to have found this, because I feel that the more women I help, doesn't matter what their ages are, and I work with women from literally in their 20s to mid-60s, you're never too young or too old to actually start. If you've been doing something one way, you can change it.
Yeah.
If you've been doing something and you're not having the success or the life you want, change it.
Yeah. Yeah. It's like I always say to myself, you're never too late to come to your own party. It's your party. It's your life.
There you go. Have more fun in life, more
Yes.
vitality.
And I think this is also something that is not just about work. It's also about relationship. Like I also spoke with Kelly Brandley, one of is the relationship coach, you know, divorce, starting over, all these things. And generally a lot of people have to start a second life or third life at a certain age. And there's no, I'm one of those people who believe there's no right or wrong. It's just your journey. And sometimes I do believe personally that crisis opens up possibility or huge door to grow. And so to have something, you know, stable for forever is almost like it is difficult. It's probably non-existence. And if you really genuinely wanted to grow. So I was taken aback when one of my clients was like, oh my God, you become an independent when you were 40. And I was like, yes. And I didn't think there's anything wrong with that because of the way I perceive life is, you know, like restart, start, restart, restart. But I realized that this isn't something a lot of people take lightly, basically. So I'm glad to hear that for you, suddenly you could see that you could offer something so much more deep than otherwise if you had done the same job probably in your 30s or 40s.
Absolutely.
Possibly.
Absolutely. I think also nowadays people are living longer.
Yeah,
People
that's right.
are healthier. We know about these medical things, interventions and technology that wasn't back 50 years ago in our parents' time. So I think we're living longer.
Mm-hmm.
We need this money to be able to last longer than it did before.
Yeah.
I also think that the second half of your life, be it your 40s, your 50s, whatever it is an opportunity for different things, for new things.
Mm-hmm.
When you're in your 20s, you will find that a lot of people will find you kind of like doing everything what other people are doing. You in a relationship, or you're getting married, or you're having kids, or whatever it is. When you get to the second half of your life, things are different. It becomes, you can actually focus more on what you need.
Mm-hmm.
And for me, it was fixing what I needed, and then realizing that there's so many women out there that have got the same issues that I have. When I was learning about these different money growth mindset, fixed mindset, learning about money myths, about these archetypes, I kept thinking, she's talking to one of my aunts, one of my sister-in-laws. I kept hearing and relating it to people and realizing that there's so many people that struggle with it. There's so many women. Doesn't matter if they've got little money or a lot of money that don't have a good relationship with money, that leave it up to their husbands, that leave it up to the partners, that think it's going to be okay, or stress that it's not going to be okay.
Yeah. Yeah. Absolutely.
I want to help those women, as many women as I can. That's my mission, to change the life for them and for the next generation. That women can realize that by protecting their money, by saving their money, they can be it for, there's so many children that need to go to school, their kids, family, that they can do things better creatively with the money than on addictions, on shopping, or whatever their addiction happens to be.
If you look back from today, if you look back from where you're sitting down today in your office into the beginning of your journey in building up this business, can you share one or two, I don't really want to call it mistakes, but it could have been perceived to be a mistakes or learnings, if you want, that you think is useful for other people who's thinking about doing the same, regardless how old they are?
I like what you said about not mistakes and learnings, because I also see them as learnings. I think that when you learn from something that you've done that isn't right, it's incredibly helpful. What I would say to somebody that's wanting to start out is actually, as I said, just do it. Don't hold yourself back because you think it's not going to work. If you are, and this is a question, so I'm phrasing a little bit different. if you are solving a problem for somebody, it's going to work. If you're solving a problem for somebody, be it helping them with their finances, or helping them how to budget, or helping them how to feel that there's enough money, by showing them all these things that were blocking them, all the limiting beliefs. If you are that puzzle maker that's putting this together, I would say go for it. Don't see it as, I can't do this, I'm too old, I'm too whatever.
So change the mindset, basically.
Change the mindset.
Right.
Fear will always stop you. Don't allow the fear to stop you. Fear will always tell you, I can't, I'm too old, I'm too this, I'm too that, I'm not clever enough, I haven't got university degrees, all these different things these people tell me. Do it anyway if you believe that you're solving a problem for somebody, because if you're solving a problem for someone, there's always going to be work for you.
Yeah. I would like to, based on my personal experience, adding to this, I agree with everything completely with what you're saying. As soon as I know what I like to do, what I like to do, what I like to do helpful for other people, that they are willing to do exchange in terms of energy. So in this case with money, then I went for it. But of course, the other thing that I learned is to give myself enough time to set this well. Sorry, I just have to clear my throat. To give myself enough time to set it well. I think this is what I learned, especially because if you set up your own business, right? How you are and the level of fear that you have in your body impacts how the journey of you building a business. So it's just for people to be mindful about that, that the fear impacts how you build the business. Therefore, it's important to make sure you check all the time on your fear level, because fear and excitement is very close. It's very, very close, but it's really easy to tip over to the other side, to the fear from the excitement. In my case, it is actually about timing. So I get excited or pressurized by time. So in my case, is timing, to give myself enough time. For other people, it's something else, but it's about checking in the thermostat of the fear and excitement regularly. How do you think about that?
I think you're completely right, and I also agree with that. A lot of the time, it could just be excitement. It doesn't have to be fear. See it as something positive. And as you said, if there's an exchange, which is what I was saying with, if you're solving a problem for somebody, the exchange is going to be there. So there is going to be a viable business. Also, you don't have to have all the answers. Just do it. Just go for it. You're learning along the way. You're learning. You will also find that the clients that you are magnetically drawn to have got issues that you've possibly worked through or need to work through. I kept on, when I started the business, getting women that had grew up in narcissistic homes. And I was like, why do I keep getting these women with these issues? Because I needed to still work on those areas in my life.
Yes.
So what I would say is be open.
Yeah.
Be open to believe and to trust that you're going to get the right energy that's going to flow, and give yourself the time to see what's going on, not just rush through it.
Yes. I think this is, again, I think it always comes down to beliefs, right? Because you hear all kinds of things about building up a business. You have to work all the time. It's almost like you almost have to sacrifice or suffer in the process. I think this was the thing that I challenged myself when I started to be my own boss. Is it true? Actually, it's not true, because when I'm stressed, I don't generate anything.
That's it. That you're 100% right. And I think that could be a fear why people stop doing it, because they feel that you work all the time. You need to have balance.
Yeah.
You need to have balance. You need to find if you worked for a company, if you worked for a corporate, and you and I were talking about this before we went live, you would get so many days leave a year. As a business owner, you need to take that time. Build your business slower.
Yeah.
Don't be in a rush to do it. because you need still time to look after yourself. You and I have had lots of conversations about burnout. You can have burnout being a business owner. You don't only because you've worked in a corporate or in a bank. So it's about balance. It's about looking after yourself. But at the same time, if it's your mission, if it's your spiritual purpose to do whatever you're doing, all the things will be there.
Yeah.
You just have to take that leap.
Yeah. You have to take that leap and change your belief that is against that leap.
Yes.
That's the point. Yeah, exactly. It took me some time to figure, but I'm glad I'm figuring. I also learned this through my own process. And so I think I would like to summarize, and please add something. So for anybody who would like to start over, be it in your 30s, 40s, 50s, doing something 60s. That is 60s. Yeah, because we live quite long these days. You may live until 100. You would like to still use your mind to create a quality life. So if you want to start over, first clarify first within yourself, what are you good at? What is needed? What are you good at that you feel, or proof of concept? There is a proof of concept that what you like to do and you're very good at is needed by other people, as you said. If you can solve other people's problem, there is a need for it, and there's a willingness to exchange energy in the form of money, then it's a really good start, because you know what you're going to go. Yes, exactly. So the second is take the leap of faith. And if there's resistance, identify what are these resistance, because it's very likely going to connect with existing belief that are not helping you to move forward. Exactly. And then third, change the belief one by one. As you proceed with building your business, change your belief parallelly, because then you will see the connection between the shift of the belief and the emotions with what is coming towards you from your efforts, basically. Exactly. And four, always manage the relationship between excitement and fear, and always check if there is a fear, ask yourself what can help to let go this fear. If this is a coach, if this is an accountant, if this is something you need outsource, or if this is more time with your spouse, whatever it is, then make sure that you give that to yourself, because when you stress out, you're not attracting good things into your life. You're attracting more stress into your life.
That's it.
Okay.
Definitely.
Anything you want to add to that?
Just, basically you can do whatever brings you joy. Doesn't matter of the age. Often you find that people retire at a certain age, and then they sit at home and they don't have anything to do. Mm-hmm. By starting later, you've actually got something that interests you, something that you enjoy, that you can carry on and continue. Mm-hmm. This also keeps you younger.
Yeah.
And you were talking about living longer. So you need to make sure that there's money that you can support yourself when you are on pension. Mm-hmm. I really believe that if you've got something of value to give to people, you're always going to have clients that will work with you.
Yeah, I believe that too. Yeah.
You and I often talk how we're going to work till the day we die. I think that's because, we believe in our hearts that what we're doing is something that has more meaning than us.
Yeah.
And money is one of them. Money is, you need money for healthcare, for food, for shelter, for all the basic things in your life. Mm-hmm. But as well as that, you need the EQ side of money, which is the abundance and knowing that there's enough, and knowing and being able to receive well. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. And just having a good balance with everything.
Yeah, I agree.
I think you want to do it.
Yes, and I also believe that the world is changing so much now that I'm not going to be surprised that the workplace or the work market is also going to change. I can't really say, into which directions, but certainly there's an invitation for everybody to start to question why they're here, what they love to do, what they're good at, what they want to learn, and just package all together into something that is bringing abundance into your life, including money, not only money, but also including money. So I think this is the invitation actually that I'm seeing from how the world is these days. And for me, there's limitless possibilities. And I'm going to be 50 in 2 years' time. So I'm not a spring chicken, is that what they say, But even I truly believe that I have this conviction that I can always offer something. And you are absolutely right, Ilana. I think as long as we believe that we have something to offer to other people that they need and willing to exchange some energy, which I think it should not be an issue, then we can always reinvent ourselves and be useful in a way that is abundant.
Absolutely. I agree. I completely agree with you.
Very good. Okay, so I think this has been a very nice reflection. What can I say? If you are ready to reinvent yourself and realizing even before you start the question, what you would like to bring into the world, you start to realize, I know I have these blockages in terms of minds. You have both of us to resort to. Ilana is specializing in relationship with money, and I help generally with people in relations to success or into trusting your own self to actually be able to make the jump and to manage what is coming with the jump. So at least you have us both, but otherwise, good luck.
Just do it, as Nike said.
Just do it. Just do it. Very good. So I hope you get a couple of golden nuggets from this conversation. I'll see you in the next episode. And for now, from Switzerland, Ilana and I are saying goodbye to you.
Bye.